Hello and welcome to the CX Files podcast. I'm your host, Mark Hillary. In this episode, I'm speaking to another of the speakers at the CX Tech Conference in London next month. That's October 2018. Don't forget that I will also be speaking at the event, and you can find more information at cxtech.events if you'd like to see the full agenda and all the other speakers. Calum Chace is an expert on artificial intelligence. He studied philosophy at Oxford University and discovered that much of the science fiction he loved was really just philosophy and fancy dress. He's written several books about AI, including Surviving AI and The Economic Singularity. Now, Calum is in demand as a speaker all over the world, so I'm really looking forward to meeting him in London next month. When I called him and we spoke, we talked a lot about how AI is being applied to the customer experience in 2018 and beyond. Okay, let's go straight to the interview. Okay, so you've written extensively on our ability to survive the growth of AI and to use tools like AI as a force to good. But do you think there's still scope for things to go wrong if we don't regulate AI effectively? Because, let's face it, politicians and governments just don't understand it.
That is all true. The possibilities, the upside possibilities of artificial intelligence are enormous. If we play our cards right, we could find ourselves in a generation with people either doing only jobs that they really enjoy or perhaps doing no jobs at all and living lives of leisure, well-funded leisure. And then in 2 generations, we might find ourselves with a source of advice on this planet which is super intelligent and which can help us solve all of our major problems, including problems as intractable and seemingly permanent as death. So the upside possibilities are enormous, but like any technology, it comes with risks. So in the short term, we've got all the debates around bias, transparency and privacy. In the medium term, we've got concerns about technological unemployment. And in the longer terms, we've got concerns about superintelligence and a machine which would be very capable of doing a great deal of damage to us if it wanted to. So there's definitely downside possibilities, but if we meet them face on, we should overcome them and achieve the upside possibility.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and leading on from there then, there's a lot of respected figures like Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk that have warned about superintelligence and saying that if we don't have controls in place to prevent them becoming so intelligent that they can then design and improve themselves, that will in itself create a problem. So is that just a misguided fear, or is that where we need regulation?
It's definitely not a misguided fear, and they're often those 3 people, Hawking, Gates and Musk, are often misrepresented as having just been sounding an alarm, which they weren't. They all said very clearly that strong artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, which is an AI with all the cognitive abilities of an adult human, leading on after some period of time to superintelligence, that is probably coming. We don't know when, we don't know for sure, but it's probably coming. And if and when it does arrive, it will either be the best thing or the worst thing ever to happen to humanity. They weren't just being negative. Now, regulation is an interesting word because it tends to mean governments dictating what scientists and business people do. And I'm not sure that's the answer. I think what we need to do is to work out how we accommodate the presence of this phenomenally powerful new technology. And that may be devising new economic systems, it may be devising ways to create the first superintelligence as one which really, really likes humanities. And I'm not sure that is properly called regulation.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that what the government is trying to achieve with social media at present maybe gives an indication then of what we might need to see in future?
I have no idea what the government is trying to achieve with social media, do you? I mean, at the moment, all I can see is the government's trying to muddle its way through a terribly misconceived Brexit.
Yeah, well, certainly the British government. I suppose what I'm alluding to is the problem of Facebook morphing from connectivity for friends into influence in elections. So we've clearly seen social media evolve in a way that nobody, probably even Mark Zuckerberg, didn't expect. And is this the fear for a technology like AI as well?
Well, artificial intelligence will clearly bring new possibility for bad actors to misbehave. And social media did that, just like the printed media did that. I mean, you could argue that when Gutenberg invented the printing press, that led to the wars of religion that plagued Europe for a couple of hundred years. I'm not sure I buy the idea that Facebook is a terribly malign medium which is used, at least of all by its founder, to subvert and pervert democracy. I think it's a fantastic platform. I don't use it myself because I don't trust myself to spend enough to have the restraint to not spend all my time on it. Mm-hmm. But I think it has been a tremendous boon for many people. It keeps people in touch who wouldn't otherwise be. I think that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But as with all new media, all new platforms, all new technologies, we have to work out how to use it. And that takes a while. And we're still in that process. You have to remember that social media in its current form is relatively new. Mm-hmm. So we're still kind of muddling our way through to figuring out how to use it best.
Okay. Well, talking about muddling our way through then, what do you think about consumer expectations? Consumers are becoming aware that companies have all this data on them. Are they becoming more demanding that companies should use it in a more intelligent way, perhaps using systems like AI to create more personalization? So, I mean, a good example might be, why do we still have all these mobile phone packages that are not intelligent and don't really understand who we are and how we use our phone?
Yes, of course. Consumer interest can push in two directions on this. One is, if you have all this data, you can do great things with it. And one of the examples I like best is Google Maps, and other mapping services are available. But the way that you can now find your way from A to B pretty much anywhere on the planet and know how long it's going to take you and be told if there's a crash or some event further up the road and you need to do a diversion, that's pretty magical. And it comes thanks to Google hoovering up vast lakes of data, where we all are all the time and how fast we're traveling, things like that. So this availability of data can give us terrific services, and the idea you're suggesting of that mobile phone companies could automatically figure out what would be the best package for us to have and automatically offer it to us. That's one example of many, many great services that can be offered thanks to all this data that these companies now have. But on the other hand, people are concerned that companies know too much about us. I don't personally have the sense that consumers are too worried about that. Most, I think, are quite happy with the deal, whereby they surrender up their data to Google and Google gives them services which are pretty miraculous, like maps and like search. But there are genuine concerns about how we protect our privacy in this new world of a proliferating data, and that is very much an unsolved problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, and one of the practical areas where we are seeing AI deployed right now is in the customer service space, is chatbots. But while it works quite well for chat, where you're literally typing a message, voice recognition is still not, completely fluent. So do you think that one of the main opportunities in this environment is going to be advising human agents that are actually then speaking to the customers? Or are the chatbots going to get really, really good really fast?
I think both. I think human operatives in call centres are currently training their replacements, and I hope they know that. It's going to be a while, and by a while I mean several years, before chatbots can completely replace even the most elementary level of human call centres. They will render some people unemployed or in need of redeployment, but they're still quite basic at the moment. As you say, they work reasonably well if you type in a simple question. But a sign of the future is a system called Google Duplex. Many of your listeners will have heard it, but if any haven't, it's worth looking up Google Duplex online and listening to this amazing machine making a booking in a hairdresser, and then another one making a reservation in a restaurant. And the machine conducts conversations which have about half a dozen to a dozen comments in either direction, and speaks to all intents and purposes, just like a normal human being, and makes the reservation effectively. And that's a very, very powerful demo that Google have released. Now, it's fragile at the moment. It's buggy. It's not ready for prime time. But that's not going to take very many years before it is. So I think at the moment the chatbots are crude, and what's happening is that human replacement, but it'll be fairly slow. But in a few years, I think we will see very powerful machines talking to us and talking on our behalf, and machines will negotiate with other machines and take an awful lot of the admin of life away from us, which would be great.
Thanks for listening to the CX Files podcast. Please tell your friends and contacts about the podcast by sharing it using the hashtag #CXFiles. And if you can leave a comment and rating on iTunes, that would be fantastic. Thank you in advance. I'm always open to ideas and suggestions, so if you want topics explored or covered on the podcast, you can find me using @MarkHillary on Twitter. That's Hillary with 2 L's. Or just search LinkedIn for Mark Hillary and CX Files. Thank you and see you next time.